Hi, Doro. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. I really appreciate it.
Mm, I'm happy. Yeah, I think this is gonna be nice.
It's gonna be what?
It's gonna be nice. I,
Hmm.
hmm,
So, our friend Toshin likes to start his podcast conversations with the question, "What is your life story?" And I want to have a similar way of opening our conversation, and I'm not quite sure how to formulate it. The best thing I come up with so far is, "What is your woman story?" Which yeah, there's so many different ways you could take that. Whatever feels good to share with me and anyone listening. Yeah, I just want to leave it open there. What is your woman's story?
that's an interesting question. Okay, let me dive into that. Hmm. Well, like the first thing that comes to mind is that like recently I had those posts saying for a long time I have not like identified with being a woman, not even like felt very much like I wanted to be a girl. In some sense, yes. Because I felt, as opposed to guys, girls had a lot of advantages, maybe. um, we can talk about those also, but like, I think I, for a long time, did not have like some sort of access towards a good model of what womanhood would look like. Like, um, I don't think I had good role models of women who very much live this. Like, I'm a woman and I embrace all of those weird things that can come with having a woman body and mm, yeah, like really celebrating that. And at least like I don't feel I had those women close or like had some that I felt very good about. And so I don't know. I think what happened is that I was sort of distant with my mom from an early age on. Like I even have got some sense of uh like she did not feel totally comfortable with me even as a baby. Maybe something um like she often talked about my brother not having been like very comfortable to take care of, as if of like he he wanted a lot and she felt like, oh, my body's not my own. um and I think, yeah, probably she felt different with me about that then. And yeah, also I remember that my parents were quite distant, like in terms of cuddling from an early age on. And yeah, I think so. Body stuff in general is a bit weird for me. And I do feel like this womanhood stuff has a lot to do with body stuff and like feeling your body and like appreciating it as the body it is. And I'm feeling like this is something I only learned recently and it's very valuable, including sort of the ways I can feel different with different hormones. And it's very, very weird. I For a long time I felt like this is not yeah, this was not a big deal. Like I'm just getting my period, like started at 13 or something, and like it just happens and I don't think I feel much different. But I think, yeah, it was just like some sort of disconnection from my body, or probably mostly. And that has changed mostly over the last year. Yeah. And of course, all that has a lot to do with sexuality. And I don't think, yeah, I had a very good story sexually, but also probably a very common story, I could say. As in, like, yeah, having a lot of sexual encounters first, that were not like feeling really good and were sort of ambiguous, like, do I want this? Do I really want this? And then I don't know, just turning out, okay, yeah, maybe I wanted something else actually. And I just didn't manage to say no to things that were uh, implicitly or explicitly asked of me. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you for sharing all that.
Hmm.
I'd love to know more about the childhood part of that. You mentioned you have a
Hmm.
brother, you weren't cuddling or touching much with your parents, it sounds like. Um, hmm. Yeah, I guess like how did you relate to touch or more broadly being perceived growing up, like maybe through puberty as a child?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's rather vague, like what I remember through puberty.
Hmm.
I what I do remember is that I realized at some point, oh, people like giving hugs, and I just don't feel like it usually. Like I don't have the impulse to do so, and like I have to kind of learn when people do expect it and to react accordingly. mm, and maybe even like uh, reproduce that situation, like offer a hug when I feel like, okay, yeah, this should be the kind of situation where it would be maybe a bit low status or something, or even awkward if I didn't.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, but like, yeah, I never felt like I was getting something intimate out of those hugs. And also, it was always like it was always quite aware of when people were touching me. There was always an event, like sitting next to somebody and legs touching, or even people like reaching out, touching me on my arm or something, or even accidental touches. And I was always like, "Oh, what's happening here right now? I don't know. What do I do? Let's just play it cool, kind of like let's try and be normal."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Did you ever feel like there was a disconnect between your outer expression there with touch or with hugs or other touch interactions and your internal state? Like you wanted to say something or adjust the touch, but you didn't or you couldn't? Was that ever the case?
Mm. I don't think I was even aware what I wanted or not wanted. It
Wow.
was just happening.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, I think at some points I started asking myself, oh, do I actually want this right now? And well, I guess that's when things got stronger, as in like, oh, I actually don't like the person next to me. Um, and
Hmm.
so I really don't want them to touch me. Or like, okay, either that way around or the other way around in terms of, okay, is there something like sexually romantically involved? And like could be like extra interesting. I should pay attention to this because it's like signals that the other person is giving me. But yeah, it wasn't about enjoyment. And I think at some point it became about, oh, I maybe should be enjoying this, like when things were getting sexual. Uh, like telling myself, oh yeah, let's just feel this. Let's let it feel good. Well, I guess that just doesn't work.
Hmm. Are there ways you can let something feel good
Please
besides
say again.
telling yourself and let's let this feel good? That didn't work sometimes. Are there ways you can let something feel good for yourself?
Hmm. Yeah, I think. Hmm, I did like being held, uh, like cozily. That felt safe, especially like it just felt warm. I just felt warmly held and
Mm.
like feeling full body contact that felt safer, I guess, than just a bit for some reasons. Hmm.
Hmm. I want to understand this better. Is that to say that somehow you're engaged in like a full body contact, like a full body hug or cuddling that feels better than like a lighter, just partial touch?
Mm, I don't think that's something I would say that's the case now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, or maybe there's some of that still left, but I I just have a sense of that back then I actually wanted cuddles a lot, and like in those moments when I was like lying next to a person or somebody really hugging me and we were having a lot of body contact, and I felt that warmth that like this would feel good like intrinsically, yeah, in some way.
Mm.
That I also was scared to lose that. Like I was more prepared to maybe go along with the wants of the other person. And I was scared of offending them in order to not lose that body contact, that warmth.
Hmm. Has there been a time in this area where you have offended someone?
Hmm. I don't think so.
Ah.
uh, hmm. No, I wouldn't say so. I was very careful. Um,
Hmm.
I what did happen is that I don't know, many of those people I did not see afterwards anymore. Yeah.
Hmm. Was that a mutual choice, just the nature of the container you were in? I'm curious, like how you were together interacting and then no longer.
Mm,
Are there other patterns there for you?
probably there are some other patterns, but yeah, it did feel like a mutual thing. Like, I don't recall it being a thing that people reached out afterwards and like, hey, what's up? Uh, yeah, usually not. I've got a sense that we might need to pause for a moment at this point for
Okay.
me to change rooms because I'm getting a bit distracted.
Yeah, no problem.
Hmm. All right. Seems better. Yeah. Okay.
hmm. I'm noticing in myself. If I think I want to speak this just to release it. I haven't had a recorded conversation in a while, and I feel like a hyper awareness of people listening who are not you or me. And I feel a simultaneous like obligation to have a good conversation with you, and for the anyone listening to like get something out of it or like it or feel like they're learning like they're learning something. um and I kind of it feels like that desire for like the audience enjoyment is like not serving you and me here right now, at least in my brain. And
Mm.
so I want to just like release it, like, hey audience, hop out if you're not about this, because I want to be with Doro here. I just wanted to speak that.
Yeah, thank you. That's great. I also have stuff going on, obviously. So
Okay.
for me, it's much more like, yeah, how are people usually perceiving me, and like how um they perceive me differently? Like, so having this conversation also, like, who else is going to hear all this? Like, I'm talking about
Right.
other connections and my parents and stuff. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna ignore the recording little notice there and just be here with you right now.
Cool.
Okay, so I get to ask questions not super well formulated, so I'll do
Hmm.
that. I know that you're not always super identified with being a woman, or you hadn't throughout your life. And I think, is it true that that's shifted? Like you're starting to identify more with being a woman more recently?
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
Um, it's it's really like a source of power, you could
Mm.
say. Uh, it's mm, yeah, I'm really glad about this. Like discovering for myself that like this is uh it's not even like some sort of expectations that are put onto me. Like you're supposed to be a woman, you're supposed to be an adult. I don't know, like you're supposed to love your body or whatever. Uh, it's really different. It's more like, oh my god, I have been missing out on a lot. That's like my own sense of power and what's right. Uh, and it's already there. This is not very stable yet. I notice. Like as I'm talking, it's there's a part of me saying like, what are you saying here? Like bullshit.
Ah.
But like it is true. I have felt that. Um, I think yeah, it's been a process of, for example, people on Twitter talking about it, women talking about it, and me seeing like, okay, nice, like kind of all the girls or women I admire on Twitter have some kind of relationship towards that, like being a woman and like embracing their body that way and like what it does, period stuff, hormones, and like okay, divine feminine. What's that? But yeah, it seems to exist. Okay, let's see. So I was, yeah, I kind of know. Okay, this is probably coming for me as I'm developing spiritually. Mm. And also, other people told me, like, yeah, this is a good thing, like Tarshin. um, yeah, I think that made it feel more like, okay, this is real. This is something to look forward to. And then, as it happened, Tarshan recommended me a book about women, and well, I looked into it. I listened to the preview on Audible. I was like, nah, actually not.
What is the book?
Oh, uh, maybe I need to look into it later. It just
Sure.
doesn't come to mind.
Hmm.
Yeah. But then I still had some sense of it, like what he said about it, what he likes about it. When I asked him, seems really good, really important actually. Like something I would kind of need. And then yeah, I saw some other recommendation on Audible that I had actually seen before, and the book was called Pussy. Like big letters, Pussy, and subtitle A Reclamation. And I think, yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, well, if it's a public recommendation on Audible, it can't be that good. Like, okay, it's not a popular thing. Um, but at that point, I don't know, for some reason I just clicked it because I thought like, could be the thing I'm looking for actually. And then I listened in and I was like, oh, yeah, that clicks.
Mm.
That totally vibe with me and I was like, let's go.
Mm.
Yeah. And like this is one part of this whole journey. And I would also say just like through having been more aware of my experience in general and like trying to listen to my body and what it tells me, I had,
Mm.
yeah, at least some more awareness to what's happening also during period time. Maybe like I just remember that like half a year ago, a year ago or something, I suddenly had some sense of, oh, something's different today. Like there's some kind of um, maybe best described as glowing embers within me. Some kind of feeling that didn't easily move with my thoughts. It was just there in my body, and it got stronger when I put attention on it. Yeah, at least that's what I recall.
Mm.
And it was kind of enjoyable because it was energy. And well, I would say throughout this whole year, I often had periods where I was like sort of lacking energy, also because of being alone a lot. And so having something that was driving me in even a way that I did not did not know where it wanted me to go was already good. And I was like, cool. And I'm kind of yeah, I can kind of dip into this thing of like this is obviously connected to my period because I can see that on my period tracker. Like pretty obvious. And I was like, yay! Finally get to experience these things. My
Mm.
women body is coming online. I'm one of the girls now. I was feeling really proud of myself actually.
Ah.
Yeah. And then I recently also had like once or twice where before my period I had some kind of um yeah, I would really say mood change, which I don't think I experienced that strongly before. But it was really like, oh, now there's something important, and now if I let it come up, then it can become quite strong, and also I can process it in a different way than I usually do. Uh, like it seems easier, stronger, something. Mm, yeah. Also, I got more mad, and I really enjoyed it.
Ah. Hmm. Hmm.
Something to ask about this.
Yeah, it's very exciting to. I just really enjoyed hearing all that. I'd love to know what either messages or ideas from that book, Pussy, a Reclamation, you resonated with the most, that really been standing out to you.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like the first one being like reclamation of the word pussy. It's very important. Just like it's not something that men use towards like, oh yeah, I really need pussy. Like yeah, that's not the thing, you know? Because like it's mine, I've got one and I've got a relationship to it. Like I can just say that's really hot actually still. It's also cute. Like pussy. Oh. Ooh.
Hmm.
Hmm. It's just like, yeah, reclamation in the sense of I'm reclaiming it as mine, or even women in general reclaiming it. That's like the author's point. And I feel that's very powerful. Yeah. And very right. It feels very, very right. And very fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then have you felt like you hadn't owned it or claimed it before reading this book?
Yeah. Can't say so. I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to have a good relationship to it, but I don't. I'm like, what's this? I was scared. And like I don't feel like I understand very well what it does. uh yeah, really. Mm, yeah, gosh. Well, that has also gotten a lot stronger during a difficult relationship I had, and I was getting really, really guilty about some arousal I had, uh, because like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to have this about anything else than my boyfriend.
Hmm.
And so I was becoming like hyper vigilant about it. and really distrustful and like trying to disown it because I wanted to say no, I'm good. Like I don't want to listen to this. It's not real. Uh, yeah.
Ah.
Um, that has gotten so much better, but still confusing. And it has been feeling like there were parts within me battling about it, like this territory kind of, as in, like there's parts of me that really want sexual stuff. And there's parts of me that really are so afraid of it. Like,
Mhm.
no, be careful. No. Yeah.
Ah. Hmm. Hmm.
And now
Um,
it feels like I, mm, yeah, that's like one of the other points of this book. There's a main thing that I find very, very important. It's like the author recommends to become a pleasure researcher.
hmm.
And I'm like, hell yeah. Because, like, I've been looking for fun and joy so much. And, well, what if, like, that's connected to my pussy, or it can be? Like, all those nerve endings actually being there for giving pleasure, and like giving me some sort of signal. Oh, this is good. This is exciting. Let's look here. Ooh. And if I can, like, connect that with my whole body and let it spread and become really friends with it, or even worship it, follow it, have it be my guiding light, my guiding star. Oh my God, that's so great because, yeah, who doesn't want pleasure? And if I, like, in the process of living my life and finding my way, I go via pleasure, well, what else could I ask for? I guess that, like, sounds like it just makes a lot of sense. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm curious what that looks like currently in your life. If you're following pleasure, how does that manifest, I guess, in your actions, in your routines?
Hmm. But I wouldn't say I have already integrated it very well,
Hmm.
but like something that has happened already a few times is now I have a much easier time falling into like just letting myself feel pleasure, falling into pleasure states when something is coming up, uh, wherever that is in my body, um, and letting it circulate. That's been very interesting, actually, like some kind of pleasure meditation, you could say. Like just, ooh, where are those waves coming from? And like, can I just let myself fall into it and just enjoy it? Oh, yes, I can. Of course I
Hmm.
can. Yeah. There's also other things. Like, I think it has been really easier for me to enjoy sexual stuff and like really, um, yeah, not not being scared of that conflict. It's like, hey, if it feels pleasurable, then that's good. Let's follow it. Uh, and yeah, I think that's trust, basically. Yeah, trust that the
Hmm.
pleasure is good and that I am so entitled to it.
Hmm.
And
Cool.
sometimes also as some kind of signal. Oh, sorry.
I said cool.
uh,
Ah.
yeah, like that has been coming up before, but now I'm even more happy about it. I trust it even more. It's like there's some signal coming up. Something is arousing me, like some small moment of like, oh, I'm reacting to something, and I feel that tiny spark down there. Like, ooh, okay, this has got to be important. This is probably good. Um, let's follow it. Or sometimes also looking for it, or half looking for it. I don't know. Do I really do that? Hmm. But sometimes I try to ask, but it can be rather vague. I'm sure that's going to evolve. Hmm. It's not like I'm having some kind of regular practice about all of this, but it just has been a lot more present in general, I think, in my daily life and like coming up more often. And yeah, I basically always enjoy that. It's a really good source. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. I want to know more about there was a dynamic you mentioned earlier about feeling aroused by something and then potentially also scared or there's fear around it.
Mm.
I'd love to know more about in those situations, like how does it resolve towards one or the other, or does it? And like what happens from there? Like if you're feeling both that fear and that arousal.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting question. We sit with that for a while. I think there's a lot of situations I want to go through kind of to answer this. Hmm. Not easy. So like playing by ear maybe for now is well in that relationship I mentioned, I would usually just try to nip it in the bud, like instantly having some really strong ooh, um, pulse coming up of like, ooh, no, don't. Um, and trying to, I don't know, divert my thoughts elsewhere, trying to focus on something else. Mm,
Hmm.
and well, then I remember during this past year, I had a lot of situations where I felt even masturbation was not easy. Like parts of me wanted something, and parts of me really didn't want that. And like, I had a hard time listening to the parts that did not want it because, like, I still, yeah, wanted stuff very desperately. um, Still afterwards, I felt quite bad in some ways. Like I had done something violent towards myself. Oh, ugh.
Hmm.
Uh, but then
Ah.
I posted about it on my alt account, private one, and people also reacted to it and gave me some maybe recommendations or like ideas. I was like, oh, okay, well yeah, let's like one of the suggestions was uh maybe you can listen to those parts like intermittently, one after the other, like switch between them if you can't listen to them both at the same time. And I did try that and it was much better, really. Yeah. And so I think I learned to be much more patient. Like, oh yeah, okay, those parts of me that really want something. I also don't really need to follow that. Like, I don't need to give myself an orgasm now just to be kind of um okay again. Like, it's not like I have some kind of obligation to give into that need. Um, Also learning that okay, actually this part probably wants something else. It's
Hmm.
a different struggle actually. Mm, yeah, so that has been easier to navigate. I would say like step by step. mm, how's it now, or has it been recently? Mm. Yeah, like I discovered progressively that also my excitement, my kinky excitement, lies on this boundary between uh, fear and feeling safe.
Hmm.
And that made a lot of sense to me to discover this because yeah, it's kind of this general growth edge. Like even when you get triggered, it when you kind of manage to walk this boundary. Okay, yeah, actually I'm still safe, but I'm still also connected to this uh thing that feels unfamiliar, exciting, maybe even scary. And if I can walk this line well, then I'm going to grow. Yeah, then I'm going to evolve. This is what brings me forward. And if I just disown the fear, if I run away from it, then, well, that can be good if it's too strong to manage at this point. Uh, but also it just means, okay, that this is still here. Like, it's going to come up at some other point, and I still have this, and it's still, yeah, maybe it's some kind of, it's still some kind of potential that I can unfold at some point. But sadly, not now.
Hmm.
And yeah, the same thing about sexual stuff, and probably it's kind of the same thing. Like we maybe feel things differently. Uh, like yeah, feelings, body sensations can seem differently, but probably yeah, this is kind of the same principle everywhere, whether it feels sexual or not.
What is the
Does it make sense?
principle?
Oh.
What is the principle?
Mm. Ooh. How to say this? uh, that the growth edge is on the excitement between fear and safety,
Mm-hmm.
something like this.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it definitely extends beyond sexuality into a lot of areas of life. I'd love to know more about your relationship with safety, um, whether sexually, romantically, with yourself, in any container or context. Yeah, how do you relate to safety?
It's a big thing.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I would say I've got a lot more of it than I used to, and I'm very glad about that. And enjoy a lot of the effects this can have in terms of how free I feel, like everywhere, every aspect of my life. Mm, and also how much I still want it and want more of it. And like, oh gosh, if I only had more people around me that I felt safe with, if I only, yeah, felt safe sexually, like, oh, how great I would be, could be, and how sad it is not the case yet.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah, I feel so much more secure within myself and my experience. Um, I can just like try to think back and trace back, yeah, basically um, all of what feels like traumatic, not good, whatever, numb, stressful, all of these things. Yeah, all of those things in my life in the past, I can trace those back to not feeling safe. I talked earlier about, yeah, my mom and how things might have happened as I was a baby, or like what dynamics could have been there. Um, I want to talk about some experience I had. That was, uh, yeah, I went to jazz camp last year in June, and on the last morning, even I had this experience. Uh, like something came up, and I felt like crying loudly, as in like really wailing, like a baby. I suddenly felt oh, and I did, and I felt like I had not been letting myself do that as a baby. Not or also not since then, like openly, just really crying in this need for something.
Hmm.
Uh, because yeah, that was the sense because I had not felt it would be of any use. And just letting myself do that felt so good. And then I also tried some IFS thing, maybe of like imagining the like the figure that could pick me up now, and that was some sort of ideal dad at
Mm.
that point, and it felt so good. Like I was just letting myself, my baby self, be held for a moment or two, or a minute, I don't know, and then afterwards, I just felt so different. So free, like a really happy little baby, like wanting to put up my limbs and just like roll around, and it just felt like laughing and like being really, really smiley and uh, so so happy and content and open towards everything that was around. Like as now I can kind of I can explore the world really anew. Like everything, it's fine. I can look there, I can look there, and look do this, and oh, it's all good and exciting, and like oh, glowing.
Mm. Ah. Mm. That's beautiful.
Mm.
You said you felt more safe lately. Um,
Mm.
Curious, like what has shifted? Is it an active process? Like how have you become feeling more safe overall?
Mm. I think a really big shift was the breakup with this boyfriend I had. Actually, he was breaking up, but I, yeah, pretty quickly accepted, like, oh yeah, fuck, I need this alone time. Oh, I really so need it. And what followed was really a time where I was exploring myself, what felt like for the first time. Like, I'm really happy about having this time with myself and being alone and just like spending all this energy I had spent on other things on myself, on my well-being, on my enjoyment, and like, oh yeah.
Mm.
And like that felt like the birth of self-love, really. Uh, like enjoying spending time with myself, talking to myself, getting to know myself, writing a lot, making voice messages to myself, accessing this way of, oh yeah, I can have internal conversations, and those are really good actually. And I can listen to myself, I can hug myself, I can do little things to care for myself, and I'm not dependent on anybody else, and nobody is dependent on what I do, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. It yeah, it did feel that way. Maybe in small ways I noticed over time, yeah, it's not actually that way, and also other things came back in again. There were like more pressure, but yeah, that
Ah.
was great.
Mm. It sounds like safety for you is related to freedom and self-care.
Mm.
That's what stood out.
Yeah, I would really say so. Like this instant feeling of safety after the breakup. Oh God. Oh, I'm so thankful my head is my own again. I can think whatever I want.
Mm.
uh yeah, my actions, I don't need to tell anybody what I'm doing or why. And also, yeah, nobody's gonna punish me for anything I do wrong. Mm. And I can really do that for myself. I can provide that for myself, no matter who's coming from outside. That was really good to know. Yeah, really, really important. Like having some kind of different view on situations. Like I really don't owe anybody to make the experience good. I was like, I'm just here because I want to. Like sitting in a course or something, uh, or listening to people talk. Like, yeah, I'm just doing this for me. I don't, yeah, people can perceive me or not. I'm fine. And
Mm.
yeah, just remembering how different that used to be, feeling so dependent on whatever other people or person that I felt especially dependent on, maybe in each situation, like how important that was, how they viewed me, and how I was presenting myself in that situation towards them, even imaginarily, yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, I'm wondering, yeah, I know you just like had recently gone to New York City. And so I imagine there's a lot of interactions with people. I would just, I don't know. I would love to, I would love to know just anything related to safety there, being a woman there. Is there anything that you'd like to share related to anything we've talked about so far in the context of your New York City trip?
Yeah, I think so. Um, there's two things that came to mind. Uh, so I was talking about this safety thing
Mm-hmm.
and feeling dependent on how others perceive me, and yeah, maybe how me being there shaping their experience, and therefore, yeah, how I needed to feel about that, like how I needed to steer myself. Um, I had both the experience in New York City of very much caring about that again in some situations, and also much less again than it used to be. Uh, so I was astonished by, yeah, how much I could still care about a specific person I met there who I was very anxious about. Um, like how much I cared about how they perceived me, and like maybe how, like what their experience was like with me. I felt like I needed to make them have a good experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought like, huh, uh, now I noticed this, and I thought this had gotten already so much better. I'm like, what, why? But it's good to know that this can still be a thing, and I think, yeah, this was very valuable to notice. I got
Mm-hmm.
really, like, I got really anxious and really mortified. Like I was back like a little child. I did things wrong. I,
Ah.
yeah, like every little thing I felt like I messed up. I was like, oh no, and this is kind of getting on the list and like making a stack. Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know how much that's related to being a woman. It feels like attachment stuff, definitely. Uh, that shows up for everybody, I guess. Mm. But yeah, I don't know. I feel this has definitely shaped my sexual experiences before a lot, and so yeah, this time as well, I think. The other thing that comes to mind is yeah, how in the company of most people, I cared so much less about being a woman or not a woman, and how they perceived me. Like I was even talking to someone about this, how I how I used to put a lot of importance on men finding me attractive in some kind of setting, social setting. Just like there was a measure of my safety, as my belonging even. Yeah, like and belonging is safety kind of.
Mm.
So I even had that before the trip. I was very anxious about people not finding me attractive, or like people finding me boring, yeah, not interesting. And so I worried about my looks, and also I worried about um, how I would feel there, how much energy I would have to present myself there to people, and like I was worrying about feeling too bad for people to to want to engage with me, basically. But that, yeah, turned out to be actually not a concern in those let's say, larger social settings, or with people like new people I met, and also this person I talked to about this, and yeah, that was really interesting. Like that person told me something about their attraction to me, and I noticed that I feel surprisingly like not concerned about this. Like it's neither a positive thing, as in like, oh yeah, hell yeah, uh um yeah, I'm being perceived in a good way. That's the good thing. I need this. Uh, Maybe there was still some of it, but really, it seemed so much less important than than it ever seemed before. And also, on the other hand, yeah, like maybe it still makes me somewhat uncomfortable in terms of talking to that person, um, because I feel like, oh yeah, they're gonna perceive me differently through their attraction. Like it means something different to me. Like this interaction means something different to them maybe than it means to me. It's not neutral. Uh, it colors the experience at least, and I don't know how to steer those energies. Maybe like it could be that it could be difficult. Still turned out to be fine, and that was also very gratifying. Like okay, there's a bit of that, but also it's not making things very difficult. Can be really just fine. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it sounds like yeah, being there like reaffirmed some stuff you'd already kind of knew with yourself, and other things were like challenged or questioned, or you thought it'd be one way, but turned out to be differently than you had thought it would go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now I'm having this sort of like, uh, aren't those like general experiences? Is that really a women thing? Then again, yeah, it does feel kind of like it because, uh, hmm, like I feel the way I've been relating in the past to being a woman is mostly this, like men being attracted to me or not. Not much else really. uh, and also, this seems to be a force that's very present. Um, like in this Twitter space, in Teapot, that I feel, yeah, women and women who present as attractive, maybe in some way, are still kind of in the minority. And so they get this extra attention.
Hmm.
And this attention is some kind of power, some kind of force that can be good, can be difficult to manage. I don't know. For me, it has mostly been feeling very positive, like giving me a lot of power that I did not believe I could have, hmm. Or making me aware of it. Maybe I don't know how that actually works.
To clarify, are you presenting as an attractive woman on Twitter?
Am I? Uh, mm,
What is the thing that you mentioned, like giving you you're observing power, or just giving you power from Twitter?
well, it's I think it's giving me power to be perceived as an attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whether I'm presenting as one, I think I am kinda like uh, I'm embracing this. Hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Also, it's obviously just now how I'm talking about it is obviously still ambivalent in some ways.
It's obviously what in some ways
Still ambivalent.
ambivalent. Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm. Yeah. Are there ways that being online, does safety ever come up for you in Twitter or other online experiences? Feeling safe or
uh,
unsafe in the context
mm,
of like, posting or reading or interacting on Twitter?
hmm, Interesting question. Yeah, mostly I would say it's been pretty safe. It's feeling pretty safe. Like I generally have felt much more comfortable saying things via tweets that I would not have said in real life, I guess, in most situations, or even any. And I think that's part of that is because, yeah, people can't really reach me, you know? They can just like tweet and respond, but it's only text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, a lot further away. And there's the fact that it's only text is also some sort of emotional barrier. Like maybe the energies of people are affecting me less. Mm.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it has been feeling pretty safe overall. Um, well, I have navigated some worries I had by creating an alt account. I have another one, but no one's following me there. Uh, yeah, like I noticed that well, in context of people I am and have been interacting with in real life also that are following me on Twitter, I kind of want another space. So I want more space to uh like let some feelings out that I don't feel like are maybe not exactly safe, but are not good to post on main. And
Hmm.
well, some things have genuinely not felt safe to post on main in some ways, as like, oh yeah, I've got some sense that if I posted a lot of sexual stuff, that feels um, more insecure to me. Actually, it's like I'm posting something here that I feel a bit vulnerable about. I'm struggling with this. I don't think that would be a good idea. Like that does not feel safe in terms
Hmm.
of people reacting to it and maybe reaching out or just um even commenting with some kind of energies that are really not helpful for me, or also just people knowing about it, that I like people I could interact with, people um I could meet in real life and talk to. uh like I think I've developed some sense of, okay, um what does feel safe to present to the public because it already feels safe within myself,
Hmm.
or like
Hmm.
safe enough, I guess, and what doesn't. Yeah.
Ah. Hmm. Hmm. I want to read one tweet I found
Mm.
earlier today from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On March 31st, 2024, you tweeted, I'm calling it in. I will have sisters love. I will have at least one woman in my life who I feel really close to and with whom I feel nourished in connection. I will not feel better or worse than her, just a sister, and love for and from her.
Yeah. Mm. How do you feel about that?
hmm. I mean, I'm smiling really big right now. I want
Mm.
that for you as well. I think it's a really vulnerable desire also. So I admire that you express it just from your main account there.
Mm.
Yeah, I just want to know more. What is it about sister's love that, I mean, calling in, that sounds like a strong desire. What is it that you desire there?
Well, that tweet came up in a moment where I had some hurt to share. And I was out in the park and I tried to, imagine who could help me with that, like who I might want to share this with. What kind of energies could help me now? And yeah, just realized, not this person, not this person. Are they all men? Hmm. Now, imagine if there were a woman receiving this. Oh gosh, that would be so good. Like feeling
Mm.
really cared, um, with that feminine energy. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, even if it's feminine energy, but just like, yeah, something very, very wholesome about this. And I felt like, oh yes, I'm missing this. And since I want this so much, I'm gonna have it for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, and that was really beautiful. It really let me process um something there, to just imagine having that person and like hugging or being held. Uh, yeah, just sharing those feelings now. That was a good portal. Mm.
Mm. Yeah, I feel even right now glad to be with this vulnerable share from you. Feel really honored to
Mm.
hear all this. Yeah, I'd love to know like what do you imagine are qualities this like ideal sister might have? Like, can you imagine who is she as a person? Anything about her?
Mm. Mm. I don't know. uh,
Yeah.
well, I would imagine that she should be kind and open-hearted, um, funny. I think yes. mm, mm, I think I would enjoy being in contact with women who were maybe on a similar journey as me. Uh, yeah, so we could share that. People who wanted to do something ambitious, uh, and good, and wanting to devote themselves to really good things, and to themselves, obviously, and to the people around them, wanting to be present in their friendships and, yeah, all relationships, and caring about that a lot. Yeah.
Mm.
And I kind of think like it might be good to talk about what my relationship to other women has been like a bit
Yeah.
in general.
I'd love
Yeah.
to know about that.
Because like that's also something I posted about. I think you saw it, probably, maybe not.
Probably.
Yeah, like there was even one post that went a bit further, like escape containment.
Mm.
Was like, oh yeah, I've been hurt by women actually. Um, and that was like going back to some memories from childhood and my youth, and trying to make sense of it. And I realized, oh, um, I had those friends, even best friends, were girls, and actually, yeah, kind of those experiences of being with those women, and like the way they were being towards me, has made me not want to be close with women, or like be a mm, lot more reluctant to connect to them. Like I've been burned there.
Mm.
Now then I turn to men, kind of during
Oh.
my maybe late teenage years and afterwards. Yeah, interesting. It's like I I discovered that I was feeling really skeptical towards if women could actually be caring towards me. And I think that came to the surface because I was surprised how women on Twitter actually were treating me nicely.
Hmm.
um, like for example, I one of the first selfies I posted, there were several women commenting, "Oh, you're so cute," and I'm like, "Oh, oh, that feels so good that women say I'm cute." Oh, yeah, I really like that a lot. Yeah, and so I think time after time, thinking about this kind of stuff here and there again, I discovered, okay, yeah, those experiences from my youth kind of uh, were not great for this. Like I had two best friends, one in primary school and one in high school, who kind of left me. They were like really important relationships to me, and they just, yeah, got maybe fed up with me at some point or wanted to connect to other people, and then I was left stranded. And like it seemed like a pattern. Uh, yeah, I had those relationships before I even had any relationships with men, any romantic relationships, and yeah, I realized how I had been aware of those things, of how that had been hurtful, but I had not actually let myself feel it. Like, what does it feel like now to, yeah, for those things to have happened, to have been left like this, to have been treated like this, to have been uh, maybe treated meanly, even like women saying mean things to me. How do I still feel about this? There's still quite a bunch left. I would say, yeah. But I also managed to process a bit of it. And I think that opened me up to the feeling that came up before I posted this tweet that you just read earlier.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm wondering, hypothetically, if you were to feel again at some point in your life, again burned by a woman,
Mm.
like how would you relate to that experience like now, as opposed to this happened, back in primary and high school? How do you think the experience would
Uh,
land with you today?
can you say again? Sorry.
How do you think that experience being burned by a woman, how would you relate to that and experience that today?
Mm. Hmm. Now you say it. There's something coming up like I'm not sure I would even realize at first.
Hmm.
I hmm. It feels like I have some sort of avoidant relationship to women still, and so maybe that makes me less aware of um, small changes that can happen, or like of the dynamics actually, or like I want to be less aware of them, kind of.
Hmm.
Um, like I turn away from it, and so if something happens that I don't like by women, I'm yeah, I might get more avoidant maybe, but not realize that I've been hurt actually, because I expected different or I hope for different. It's like I'm still not even letting myself hope for a lot. I don't even expect a lot still, and so I it's harder to open myself up and actually get hurt. Mm, yeah, that's nice. That's good to know. I would like to open up, but it feels scary. It does.
Hmm.
I think I also have some sense of um, would I would I even know what the other person is on about? Like, um, do I understand women well enough? Do I get some sense of do they like me? How much do they like me? Are they genuinely kind to me or not? What does it mean to them how they are to me right now? What can I even expect of them? Yeah, I don't know. I want to find out. Hmm.
Yeah. It also sounds like there's a safety thing here where, I mean, you mentioned being scared. So if that's happened again with a woman, if you get close with her, she hurts you, that's it's not a safe situation, right?
Mm. Yeah, I think I could be really mad, but also not knowing at all what to deal with, what to do with that. What do I do
Mm.
with being mad? Ugh.
Mm.
Um, huh. Yeah. Oh, hmm. There's some sense of maybe uh maybe men would understand more if I were mad at them and
Mm.
would be more receptive to that. And if I were mad at a woman, she might not be able to accept that so well, and so she might get resentful and actually hurt me more, and even maybe in really sneaky ways because I've got a feeling that this can happen easily, like uh, hmm, this is probably a thing that men also can have, but maybe women have it a bit more in general. That's some sense I have. I'm not sure about this, or like I'm maybe I'm a bit embarrassed to say it like this that I think this because I'm scared of being judged for having this opinion.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I have got this model, intuitive model that the way women could hurt people can be more roundabout, more sneaky, kind of less direct, and therefore kind of less hard to identify, to feel. And well, I know I also have those instincts. Like if I'm not feeling good about a person, then I can have some instincts of hurting them, maybe yeah, in a bit of an indirect way. Uh, it's interesting.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, thank you for that whole explanation. Have you ever been mad at a woman before? And have you expressed that to her?
Mm, no, I would
Yeah.
say that's a straight no.
Cool. Yeah. I just had been curious about the reverse of the situation you described. Have you expressed anger towards a man before?
Mm, yeah, I have done that. It's still a new experience, but yeah, it has felt good. And now thinking about it again, I have expressed some angry feelings towards my mom once. There was one situation, and I don't think she took it well, or she was able to take it well. I, well, maybe it was not like directly expressing anger or something. What I did was express some frustration with her and my dad. So it was not just an affront towards her or something. Like I expressed frustration about our family dynamics. Let's say this. So it was not like you did a specific thing that I got mad about, um, and here it is. But yeah, okay. Hmm. So maybe not a straight no, but almost.
Mm. Hmm.
And about expressing anger towards men, mm, well, I think I've hardly done it face to face. I've certainly done it via text. Uh, and um, I try to say things I was angry about face to face as well. But I know I still held something back. Well, that's not a bad thing. Um, but yeah, I don't think I ever. Yeah, there's still something like um, it might feel very powerful if I were to be face to face with someone, man or woman, and fully feel my anger in that moment, be seated in it, and express it in some way that feel safe. Yeah. Or even a bit risky.
Hmm. Hmm. I'm curious about that story you mentioned about women potentially being sneakier, more subtle about conflict than men. Um, yeah, what about that? Have you experienced either side of that? Like a woman being sneakier, subtle towards you in some conflict, or, I mean, you doing that to someone else?
Mm, yeah, good question. Well, I certainly have been on the receiving end of a lot of sneaky comments by some girls. Like especially one girl who I was on the surface friends with. Like we said we were friends, but it did not feel like a friendship. It was never caring. Yeah, I can't say that. And um, she would always criticize me in more or less subtle ways. Uh, that was really interesting. Like some really roundabout thing that she did was say to me, "Yeah, such a uh, wonder child," or something. How do you say that? Is that
Wonderkind? Wonderkind? The German
yeah,
thing? Okay.
yeah. She did she did use that word. Now I'm thinking of Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
Anyway,
right.
um, because like I was playing the violin and did that quite a lot, and I was good at it, at least like comparatively, and also was good at school. And she sort of did not. She wasn't able to make sense of that because she thought I was weird, and like somewhat too weird to to function properly or something like. I wasn't allowed to be good at things, maybe, or yeah, something like this. And like I think I felt hurt by that because I was obviously also working really hard. Like I was practicing the violin every day, so there's not much mysterious about that, I guess. Uh, I could say yeah, I was talented, but whatever. It's just like I just also really did stuff for that. It's not just like something I had, other people didn't. I don't think so. Or at least, yeah, that was not the main part of it. Mm. I think the main part was probably my parents supporting me in that a lot. Yeah, putting a lot of value on me learning the violin. Mm, well, she also said more direct things. It's like we were taking a dancing class together, and sometimes we danced even with each other because there weren't enough guys. And she would like touch my hand because we're yeah uh would touch hands, and she said like, "Oh, oh, your hand is so weirdly soft. It's a bit disgusting." Oh,
Hmm.
okay. I don't know what she expressed there. Like I think she had some yeah I don't know a lot of weird feelings towards me really, uh, and they needed some sort of outlet. Anyway, like good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like she would never say I dislike you or something. Rather like ask me to go home together like on our bikes, waiting for me, this kind of thing. Like spending time with me in general, yeah. Making plans together with our friend group. But still having this kind of attitude towards me, like always saying, "Oh, you're yeah, I don't know, you're not eating normally. That's not like a normal person," or yeah, any kinds of weird habits I had that they would get pointed out by her, and she would really emphasize that a lot. Mm. And I think there's yeah, this is maybe even rather direct. Like I think there's tons of ways where uh, people, and maybe especially women, learn to express themselves in a very roundabout way, like asking certain kinds of questions that, I don't know, point towards some judgments or like poke into things or whatever. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't have good examples for that right now. I've got some stuff in mind that I actually don't. Yeah, I don't want to talk about because it just feels judgy for my part. I have
Hmm.
not made peace with it either.
Hmm.
Yeah, and me doing this kind of thing, well, certainly, I I'm sure I did this towards men, but towards women, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I feel like I have been very passive about my relationship to women, and so I don't have a clear sense of like, oh, where did I actually try to poke, maybe, or like what things did I say that had some kind of intention of getting at them. I maybe I've played status games. I know I did that. Yeah,
Hmm.
in some ways. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you were getting mixed messages from that friend and could be confusing or like you want clarity there, but sometimes she's nice and sometimes she's somehow turning soft hands into an insult.
Yeah. Really, really weird relationship. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I want to know, is there anything you want that you also feel shame around wanting?
Hmm. You mean in general?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, probably, most probably. What comes to mind? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, certainly. Like, I feel like I do want uh, some kind of relationship and romance, and I want that to feel safe for me. And there's some sense of, oh yeah, well, I tend to get jealous if there's something going on with other people, other girls, other women. So I might not want, yeah, any partner I have to engage with other people like that, but also don't feel like that's fair in some ways. And also feel like I probably wouldn't want to restrain myself that way in a relationship. But also, yeah, I feel like I really want some kind of sexual safety, and that seems maybe part of it. And I'm confused about that, and I feel, yeah, some sort of shame around that. Like I'm not supposed to be jealous.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I want to know more here.
Hmm.
How to frame it. Yeah, I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. Um, so if you're in a relationship with someone, something could happen that could cause you to feel jealous, and there's shame there.
Hmm. Or even if it's not a relationship that's been called a relationship, even if it's just something going on and I formed some sort of attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I
can really
see.
easily happen. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you have a connection with someone, but they also, can feel connected with someone else, jealousy can arise there.
Or even just attraction that they experience.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Ah,
Yeah, it's I feel that's not only a safety thing, or maybe it's safety in the bigger context also, because I feel like I still have a hard time, yeah, connecting with women and therefore also empathizing with them. And it seems to be some kind of competition thing.
mm,
Um, like other women being attractive and other people being attracted to them and other women shining and being interesting and whatever and competent feels like a threat to me. Hmm.
ah, mm, mm.
Mm.
Mm, mm. Seems totally unrelated.
Hmm.
Is there any way that you feel that men are failing women on a societal level?
Mm. That big question. I don't feel like that's a very useful frame in general.
Hmm.
No. Um, well, there's some sense that women are being failed. You could say that. Like mm, yeah, there's still probably a lot of stuff going on, like what I experienced, that women don't feel they can actually care about their own experience. Um, that their own experience is actually important. That they can um, make decisions towards like, oh yeah, I want this or I don't want this, and have that be really relevant and listen to their yeses and nos and stuff. Like really learn that. But yeah, whose job is that? Well, I think it would have been great if my mom would have been able to teach me that, like live it for me in front of me. That would probably have been the most helpful, but she didn't. Not really. And so, yeah, maybe that's a different frame. That it's, I don't know, dynamics reinforcing each other. Um, so women are not having a sense of security, maybe. And so, as mothers, they can't give that to their children, like either the girls, teach them, or also, like, there's a lot of a lot of needs from men still open because their moms weren't available. And so those two dynamics intact really badly, probably.
Mm.
What happened to the boys? What happened to the girls? Then they hurt each other. Great.
Hmm.
Hurt themselves also. Yeah.
Growing up and watching your mom not be able to listen to or express her yes and no. I'm curious for you, like seeing that, what did that look like, witnessing that from your mom growing up?
Mm. There's a sense she always complained about stuff. She did that, like back pain and having a lot to do, and maybe not getting enough help with the household, with household stuff. but also, um, like things would never change, things would never be heard. It became more as a litany, and it did not feel like, from my perspective now, I would not say it felt like self care on her part. She did some stuff. She did yoga. I think that was good for her, and then also some um, back strengthening thing. So I could say she did a lot more of these things than my dad, for example.
Mm.
But still, I would still say there's some sense of she, yeah, really, she was used to not getting heard, um, and being alone with her pains. Um, yeah, those pains got also stronger. Like she has been having chronic pain issues even for like the past, I don't know, is it like 15 years now, maybe a bit less, like some kind of nerve pain. So I would say this internal conflict or whatever it is, manifested itself that way. Some stressful factors that she had, and yeah, not enough care from herself or from other people sort of, eh, maybe made that happen. Um, I want to return to the question you asked. You said something like, "Would that feel like her not living this?"
Mm-hmm.
The sense of yeses and nos. Oh yeah. Well, even towards us children, she really had a hard time saying no, and she has even told me that. She has even said multiple times, "Yeah, I can't really say no to you," or like no to Dorothea. um, and that makes stuff hard in some way because I think that way I also wasn't able to put anything hard on her, really. Like, if I had emotional problems and maybe felt like there was something up, I just wouldn't put that on her because I already felt like she can't help me with that. She doesn't have capacity, or maybe even on a deeper level. Oh, if I try, um, I yeah, I will even get punished or something. Um, mm, there's some memory that sometimes comes up in terms of I did not learn to ask for things, um, or rather, I did learn to not ask for things and to suppress my wants. There's some childhood memory of like I was quite small and I maybe had a belly ache or something, going to bed. Like it was quite late, and I maybe wanted, um, yeah, something warm to warm my belly with, and I went to my parents' bedchamber, and for some reason I don't know what happened, but they were really grumpy. Maybe they just woke up or something, um, and they did not want to give me this, and I still wanted it. I said like I want it. My dad got so mad at some point, and he just took me and carried me into the basement. Uh, I was like, screaming and kicking, something. At least that's how I remember it, and put me down there, uh, in this basement room alone. Hmm. And
Oh.
yeah, I think some part of me got left down there for a long time.
Mm.
It doesn't feel like even very scary or something. Like this basement room would have been scary, but just uh okay, I'm asking for something I really want. Like I have some need. I want this, and oh fuck, no, no, no. The reaction is not good.
Yeah, it sounded like being punished for expressing what you wanted.
Yeah, I don't know, something like this, and
Mm.
maybe yeah, maybe I just learned very quickly. Okay, I'm not gonna do this again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. How do you relate to your parents now?
Mm. It feels very complex.
Yeah.
And it's changing. It's been changing. And it's very interesting. Um, I think I have a lot more distance towards them in some sense now. And that has also enabled me to see them differently. I see them more just as the people they are, and maybe even getting to know their different wants and desires or something. Like there's vague senses also in how they relate to me. There's a lot more to discover. Um, there's there's this fear. Uh, like I am avoiding them still a lot these days. I can feel bad, but also there's a lot of pressure that I still feel because like I am financially dependent on them right now, and they're not very happy about this situation, and they want it to change, or they want to see it change rather soon. And well, right now, I think the situation has evolved in terms of uh, they they have seen that it can have bad effects to ask me uncomfortable questions. I did not react well to that a few times, and so they're also trying to play it more cool, distant, maybe trying to be friendly, supportive if they can, but also I think they're very confused. Like it feels like they don't understand very clearly what's going on for me at this period of life, what's going on within me, why things are the way they are for me right now. Um, yeah, or also what could happen, what could help me to get a foothold maybe of independence. Mm. Working something, building something that could earn me money.
Hmm.
So yeah, what has happened is like I have had a lot more instances where I have expressed my feelings towards them and have let them see also how intense those feelings can be. Like I've cried in front of them. I even got really mad and left the room on time. I think those things had a big impact in terms of uh, shaking up the dynamics we had before, where we would just act as if nothing was happening at all emotionally. And I think that has also inspired them and maybe enabled them to open up more, but also probably has scared them. Mm, yeah. And it makes me feel a bit helpless because I I also want to be there for them. I want to show them my love, and I don't really know how to do
Hmm.
this well.
Yeah. If there was one thing you could tell or communicate to your parents and they would instantly understand it and know that about you or whatever it is you share, what would that be?
Mm. Mm. It's some sort of positive message. It's like the future looks good. Future looks bright. It's mm, it's not only It's not only going to pay off well to be optimistic, but also it's right. At the very least, for me, it does feel that way. And in any case, it feels like it would be right to be more optimistic about the future than mainstream media presents usually. Yeah. And I don't want to let my life be steered by worries about the future. I want to see potential. I want to see the really beautiful things that can happen and that I can help happen, can make happen, I can be part of. And those can be big. And yeah, I don't want to play it safe.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't feel safe, actually. It feels
Wow.
deadening. It feels really dangerous for my life force. And therefore, yeah, I'm going to do stuff, even if I don't know how it's going to turn out, in what ways it's going to be safe. I've got some sense of it. Um, like, I might want to talk to them about what I think is the importance of community, of having a really good social network, and how that to me is a lot more safety than money or like being a good in good books with your state or um, your workplace. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hope someday they are able to receive all that from you and your relationship can be, nourished or healed or improved through that communication.
Mm.
um, so with this, for me, newer format of conversation, I'd love to know if you can imagine me chatting with another woman about her experiences. Is there any question you'd love to hear some other woman answer?
Hmm. That's great.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hmm. It could be a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I
Let's
might want
hear
to
it.
think about it. Uh,
Take your time.
yeah. Well, probably also after the call, even. It does feel hard to come up with all of this right now. My really real curiosities about women. Oh. Maybe something can come to mind. Oh gosh. Well, if it's a woman I know, the question I most want to ask her is like, "Do you like me?"
Do you like Doro? Writing that down.
Oh my gosh. I think I want to think of another one. Um,
Mm.
general, general public question. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, I think I would want to ask about their um, involvement as women. Maybe like asking something similar to what you asked me at the beginning, but focus on this like also maybe right. Let's say when and why and how did you first start identifying with the term woman? Like, would start calling yourself a woman or feel good about other people calling you a woman?
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Start like, why, how, when. circumstances, well, everything about
Mm-hmm.
this shift.
Mm-hmm. And that shift for you was relatively recent, right?
Yeah, it still feels like it's not settled in completely yet. Like, hmm, I'm also not sure how I relate to the term girl. Like, yeah, I still I'm a girl. I like people calling me a girl, kinda. But also something about people calling me a woman feels really good. Hmm, yeah, this kind of transition, I guess. And I don't even know if it's a transition at all, or if it's more like, oh, I'm just a person, female person, and now I do identify with the femininity, whether that's girl or woman, like really like it. And probably the term woman is just more powerful in that sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Is there anything else you want to talk about or share or elaborate on that you haven't discussed with me here?
Sometimes I felt like we uh, maybe left some of the things out, or like if I looked at the conversation written down, I would probably like, uh, oh, but there's something still unanswered about that question that he asked, or something, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. So something really important that comes to mind about this general topic. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Maybe one thing I still want to share. That was a small shift, but it felt very good. Um, so I recently took on quite a bit of weight, as in like, mm, it's not a huge lot, but for me it felt like it's a substantial shift because like I had lost um, weight for a period of time, and then I was like really thin, uh, like teenage times thin, or even less, and then yeah, I regained quite a bit and was like, now I'm growing a belly again. I never liked that. What's happening here? Like, it could be fine. It could be fine. It's not so bad, but also it just really doesn't look good. And I had some idea at some point, some inspiration, as in like, oh, well, I've been feeling bad about my parents, about my mom. Um, I have been feeling maybe ugly also because um, I don't love the things about my features that come from them or something, or like I don't have a good relationship with it. That seemed to make sense to me. And so the same is most probably true about my body. So like I kind of resent my body for looking like my mom's. Oh fuck. Okay. And now what if I embrace this? Like what if I just kind of embrace my mom energy, my mom's energy, be more like her and be like, yeah, well, I'm fucking a lot like her. And what's good about this? What feels good about this in my body also? And I felt pretty good. I was like, huh, yeah, that's a woman's body. That's powerful. Nice. And it's also very comfy and feels supportive and oh
Hmm.
like yeah, broader hips and thighs and everything. Like, yeah, I can drive this now, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool that weight gain sort of brought about all those thoughts and kind of reorientation with your body.
Hmm.
There are a lot worse ways. There are a lot worse ways to react and sit with weight gain. So
Yeah. Yeah, I've also had other reactions to it. Some good, some more averse. It's interesting. It's all ongoingly interesting. Uh, I like it. Yeah, that's stuff
Mhm.
to explore.
Yeah, I think you mentioned towards the start of our conversation something about like having a body or a woman's body like informs your sense of being a woman. Um, I think maybe I probably subconsciously avoided direct questions around that. Um, yeah, because there's like fear here as a man sort of leading or guiding this conversation. And again, I am aware of some nebulous audience listening to this. So um, yeah, I have a conscious desire of like wanting anyone listening to feel safe or that anyone listening could potentially also have this sort of conversation with me. And so even like the hint or impression of, I don't know, being vulgar or invasive as far as, I don't know, questions around a body could could be, you know, I can't control people's how they receive how I show up here, but there's fear. So I feel glad that you brought up, I guess, your body towards the end here. And yeah, I think because you mentioned that towards the start, is there anything else around, you know, your body that feels, how do I phrase this? Yeah, how do you relate to womanhood in the sense of being in your body?
If I feel into it right now, it feels yeah similar to what I described earlier. It's like there's more attention in my lower body, like hips and thighs and bum, like belly also, like more energy concentrated there, and also like this, just embracing the expansion of it. You could say, uh, like yeah, this is broader. This is more, and there's more space here, and so obviously there's some kind of mm, emphasis, like center. It feels nice. It feels grounding. Mm, yeah, very much as opposed to growing up as a teenager and feeling like, oh my god, look at those thighs. They're not supposed to be that big, are they? Yeah. Uh, I think it also changes the sense of like how I want to dress, how I want to like yeah empathize no enhance maybe certain features of my body, show them off. Um, mm, it's yeah, it's a calming thing. It's yeah, I can rest in this sensation. Yeah, having this woman body that has got this weight down there. Like, oh, yeah. mm, yeah. Mm, also, maybe connected with what we talked about earlier and this pussy book. It's like, yeah, my womanhood is a source of power. Um,
Hmm.
and I can embrace this. I can uh, receive it. I can use it. I don't know. There's a German word. I don't find it in English right now. It's like yeah, I can take something from it. Like, uh, yeah, and mold it into beautiful things.
Hmm.
Mm. Well, I'm still at the beginning of this journey, but that's what comes up now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. It just sounds like generally a positive connection relationship there.
Hmm.
Ah, yeah. Hmm. Okay. Well, feel like ready to wrap up here. So, yeah, this was my first call of exploring this sort of womanhood focused conversation. And I feel really grateful that I got to have my first one here with you. So, thank you, Doro. Yeah, I appreciate your presence here and being a receptive answer of my various questions.
Well, thank you. Yeah, was really fun actually. I like talking about these things, and now they kind of all in one place, and that feels really good. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Hmm.
thanks again and take care.
You too. Thank you.